Hey coin collectors, and welcome to DC Coin World International Coin Channel, and it's our Christmas or December 25th version of the live show. And today we're going to look at the 68, I'm sorry, it's live, 1968 US quarter dollar coin. And here's three of them right down here. And when we look through them, we see that there's actually some mint marks on the coins. And what we're going to do is we're going to go through them. And it turns out that in 1968, the United States reintroduced mint marks to their quarter dollar coins. They hadn't had them for a few years. So let's look at the prior coins and see what was going on. Well, here's a 1965 U.S. quarter. Here's a 1966 U.S. quarter. And here's a 1967 U.S. quarter. And you can see all the mint marks that they made for these particular quarters. This is a Washington quarter dollar. This is Liberty at the top. In God we trust under Washington's chin. Here's 1965. And so here's all the mint marks that they made. None. What about on the back, you say? No mint marks there. And some of the older quarters, they have a mint mark under the eagle. But these particular quarters from 1965, 1966, and 1967 did not have mint marks on them. And there's a reason for that. The reason that they didn't have mint marks for 65 to 67 is because they were shifting over. Some of you probably remember that in 1964 and earlier, the United States quarters were silver. And the reason I'm making this video is because I found one of these in my change, which I couldn't believe. This is a silver. If you look in the edge, there's no copper in there. 64 and earlier was silver, and here's the new one. These coins from 65 on, they were a copper nickel clad copper. In 1964, they were 90% silver. In 1964, actually in 1962, they said, we're going to move over and change from silver to copper nickel clad copper because the silver's costing us too much to make. And so these silver quarters, and there's that mint mark I was talking to you about on the back of the silver quarter right there. So that's a D for Denver. So this is a Denver mint mark silver quarter, but because it cost more in silver to make than it was worth, they shifted over. But what they did was they said, let's make a bunch of these, 4.2 billion, I think, of these coins were made from 1962, 1963, and 1964. And when they made all those coins, they said, this should bide us over. But what happened is as soon as they told people that they were moving to a copper nickel clad copper, people started hoarding all the silver coins. And so what they said was, what if we don't put mint marks on them? And then you can't hoard them or collect the D's and the P's and the S's and whatever. So from 1965 through 1967, no mint marks on the quarters. So don't look for a P, don't look for a D, don't look for an S on the 65 to 67 quarters. Now, in 1968, they said, I think things have calmed down a little bit. And by 1968, they were able to make many fewer quarters. By 1968, they only made about 300 million quarters. And what they did was they put the mint marks back on them. But, and this is, if you look at these, you'll see there's something weird about these. There's a D here, there's what looks like a P here, and then there's a blank. Well, they don't have all three, and those of you who collect U.S. coins know that there's not a blank coin and a P. So what's going on? Well, it turns out that this one is just a little weird D. So this is a D, it's not a P. It just got mashed down because in 1968 when they reintroduced, they only brought back the D. So here's the D over here for Denver, and here's the plain for Philly. And people don't remember now, but there wasn't a P mint mark on a quarter ever before 1980. So from 1932 until 1979, no P mint marks on the coins, only D or plain on the quarters. Now, some people say, well, I saw that P over the over the top of the Capitol building or whatever. And I say, no, they did put a P in the war on these silver nickels. But of course, this doesn't have the Monticello on the back with the P over it. This has the War Eagle on the back. United States of America, E pluribus unum, it says right here. Down here we see an eagle holding a sheaf of feathers, and arrows. So these are arrows, feather end, arrow end. And down here is an olive branch, and it says $quarter. And the $quarter coins never say 25 cents anywhere on them. So if you're looking for the 25-cent coin from the United States, it's the quarter or 1/4 of a dollar coin. And so that's what we have here. So in 1968, we had the D for Denver. And at the Denver Mint, they made 101 million. And we had the plain for Philly. At the plain Philadelphia Mint, they made 220 million. And then they introduced something else. It's called an SMS, or Special Mint Set. And the Special Mint Set for 1968, 67, 66, and 65 contained coins, but those were all essentially what they call proof sets now. So no mint marks on those coins. All right, so here we are. And what happened with this one we were looking at earlier? Well, what happens sometimes is that the mint marks just get squished, and you can see that there's a scratch on there, and there's the blank. Sometimes we call these filled D's because the D is supposed to be it gets kind of smashed in. Yeah, and somebody just said, I'll give you $quarter for it. Yeah, that's what these are worth. Now, here's the deal. When you collect U.S. coins, you want to get all of a certain year. So in this year, all you need is the plain, the D, and if you look for a mint set, you will find an S. All right, that's all we have today from the DC Coin World International Coin Channel. Have a great Christmas. Hopefully we're going to have a little bit of a change for the new year with the vaccine and everything coming. And thank you for watching DC Coin World International Coin Channel this year.